How are you, my friend?
Suggest
Good to see you again.
I am good. How are you?
Good.
I think I.
I just got off the line with Clank. He said to say hello.
Oh man, I love that guy. God, I haven't
I
talked to him in so long. We send messages every now and then, but we never get a chance to really have a good time talking and stuff. It's been a long time. I've known that guy for a long time. I love him. He's such a sweetheart.
I've known him and Clayton since high school.
Then you. I ain't saying nothing then.
Me and Scott and him go way, way back. 40 years
That's
probably.
awesome. Awesome.
Anyway, thank you for taking the time. I've only got like 5 questions. They should
Well, sure.
see where they
Well,
end up
five
going.
five questions take me 3 hours. So
All right, I'm going to just jump in. Also, I want to let you know I'm going to be quiet while you're talking because I want the audio to be perfect. So I'm not
okay,
ignoring you.
okay. But if I
All right.
go on too long, you can cut in on me if I go too far.
That's fine. You can shorten if you go too long too. Whatever you want.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
All right. All
Let's
right.
see. Where should we start? How about this one?
Yeah.
Looking looking back on your career, are there any moments or achievements that you hold particularly close to your heart, and if so, why?
Woodstock '94. That's the first time and probably the only time I'll play for that many people in my life, and it was just sort of like that bucket list thing. I got to do it. Even if it was only once. I mean, I watch all these rock festivals and huge ones, and everybody's playing, and I know most of those people in those bands who love King's X, and I watch and I go, man, we never get to be a part of that. And but then I remember, Woodstock '94. It was a wonderful time, and we played great, and it was a good show, and it was. Also, I would say it was surreal because it's sort of like a dream in my head. I don't. It's like when we were out there playing in front of that many people, there was the vibes and the feeling. The stage was so huge. The PA was so big. I mean, it was like 60 cabinets on each side. So when I sang and played my bass, it was like I was in the shower without the water on, singing and playing. It just engulfed you. It was one of the greatest experiences that I have had playing music. Sadly enough, though, is I felt I didn't connect to the audience, and I beat myself up a lot about my performance. But I realize now that if I was a veteran playing big places like that, I would have understood that you can't touch the audience. It's all about they see a little guy on stage and you got to give that to them. I'm so used to people right in front of me, and I look at them and I sing to them and get reaction. And the thing with Woodstock is the people were so far away. There were like there was 3 different levels. There was reporters, another level of cameramen. There was another level of bunch of other people, and then there's the people. I could barely see the people in the front row. It was a wonderful time, though.
As you reflect on your journey as a
hmm
rock and roll metal musician, what emotions arise when you think about the impact your music has had on fans throughout the years?
Um, it isn't a reality to me in many ways, because there's probably there's probably no band out there that hasn't been told that somebody sounds like them or somebody has influenced them. So for me, it's just like I'm just a part of the soup. I copy Hendrix and Yes and Chris Squire and Mavis Staples and Aretha, and you could go down the list, Sly and the Family Stone, into metal, from Meshuggah down to Anthrax. I've taken things from them and incorporated it into my own music. But also, when we dropped Detuned on Out of the Silent Planet, that kind of introduced a different way of playing. And I think that maybe not a direct result, but I think we helped promote drop D tuning, which changed the whole scope of the rock and roll world. I remember about 3 years after the Gretchen record came out, and I remember we went to Europe, and there are always like 3 or 4 bands that would open for us. That's the way it was back in the day. And all the bands were drop D tuned, every one of them. And I thought, wow, this really happened. So, Kim Thales told me that he introduced drop D tuning to Chris Squire or Chris Cornell when 1995. And Ty Tabor wrote Pleiades in 1995, which was drop D tuning. And to me, those two songs, especially that whole vibe, the Beatles and Black Sabbath kind of vibe, I think both of our bands kind of woke people up. And then Alice in Chains came along and just kind of honed in on it and just brought it in a way that people could just really relate to it. I mean, Laney, come on, and Jerry Cantrell, the whole band. They put something together that just fucking helped. So I think it was a stepping stone because Killing Joke back in 85, Nighttime, it was drop D tuned. And so but the tuning thing, I think, when our first record came out, almost the whole record was drop D tuned. And Wes from Limp Bizkit said one time, he said, if you want to change the way people are thinking, write something that any kid can pick up a guitar and play immediately. If you take your guitar and take the E string and tune it to D, all you can play flat fingered, and we spawned a whole bunch of kids who can't do anything else but that. There's no chord. They don't know chords, and think about Helmet. Everything was those chords. And even Meshuggah, it's just, they've got that low thing. And so I think that we just keep putting in our influences into the soup, and we just keep watching what comes out of it. Okay, I'm done now.
Yeah, that was great. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced as an aging musician, and how do you overcome them?
The biggest challenge I face, and it's happening right now because I'm 73, is like I just can't do it like I used to. Physically, I can't. I don't have the stamina. My voice doesn't hold up like it used to. Even my what's it called? My force, my drive. Even the drive has waned in some ways. I'm just old, and that's what happened. For me, I call myself a grumpy old man because it pisses me off that I can't do what I could do. And it concerns me when people say, "Oh man, Doug ain't got it no more." Well, fuck, I don't. It's 73. What's gonna happen when you get 73? Come on, talk to me. I kind of laugh at it, but I have to just let it go because it's I guess it's what it is. It's what happens to us. So it frustrates me, not because it maybe disappoints a fan, or I can't keep my place in the Rock Hall of Fame of stamina. For me, it's just I just want to be able to get up and run down the street, run and come back, and my legs don't hurt. And I've worked at it. And I've worked at my body for a good while now, and my doctor says I got the body of a 53-year-old, and I can jump and run now. Arthritis started to get to me about 5 years ago, and all of a sudden my legs started swelling up. I mean, back in the day, I was walking around with a cane and stuff, and it was hard to walk upstairs. Like the last time we played Austin, I remember I had a cane to walk up this flight of stairs to the room. Now I can run up the stairs. And so for me, it's like, okay, your body is waning. Let's get online. Let's find out what we can do and what can we take to help alleviate this. And so, there's probably about 30 different herbs that I take every morning. And I find that prostate, arthritis, go down the list, high blood pressure, everything is going back to normal. My body's going back to normal. I've been working at this for a long time, and I got it now down pat. So as long as, I just, I'm not worried about living forever. I just want to be able to walk on stage when I'm 100 years old and get that fucking Grammy finally.
What do you want your legacy to be?
Somebody asked me that a while ago. And this is really my answer is this is the analogy. My great grandmother raised me, and she passed away in 74. And my great great nieces and nephews don't even know her name. But they know if they opened up a book, the family history, they would see Ida Mae Pinnick, So the way I see it is people have said what they've said. I've done what I've done. What happens, happens. And sooner or later I'll be forgotten. And I'm okay with that because that's life. And that's a beautiful thing. And and for me is still make the best of my life as I can, whether anybody cares, whenever anybody knows or whatever. It's we are who we are and our life is around us. This is our reality. And everybody else's reality is their own reality. We cannot compare it. We can only look into ourselves and try to be the best person we are, Make sense?
Beautiful.
Good.
Yeah. Are these okay so far?
Yeah, always. I have no problem with any question.
Two more.
Okay.
What role does nostalgia play, or what role do you think nostalgia plays in the continued popularity of heavy metal amongst aging fans?
I don't think it's nostalgia. Whatever you liked when you were a kid, you still like when you die, I mean, it doesn't change. Whatever changed your life, you'll always that'll be the big history of your life. There is no nostalgia because put it this way, everything's nostalgia anyway. I mean, 10 years ago, that's nostalgia for a 10-year-old, and 30 years from now, that's not even nostalgia for me. So, and I can go back to the 40s in my mind of listening to Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and Johnny Mathis and then Little Richard, and I'm not even 10 yet, so that's all irrelevant. It's like I said, to backtrack, it's all about that soup. You just keep putting things in that soup, and all of a sudden we get a new thing. A new thing happens. You might not like it, but the world likes it, and the world takes it, and you got another Cajun dinner. You know what I'm saying? With a bunch of shit in it. It's awesome.
Nice. So two more then. Looking back on your career, is there anything you wish you'd done differently or any regrets that you have as far as being a musician?
I have no regrets it's not a regret. It's a question, and it's something that I'll always ponder. That is, if I had been born into a family that saw the gift that I had and nurtured me, um, I'm curious as to who I would become and what I would have done with my life. But then on the other hand, all the negativity that happened in my life as a child is why I do what I do and my claim to fame and what people love about me. It's because I come from a place that made me this person. So the only thing I would ever really say to myself is that, Doug, you're okay. Never think you're not okay. Because my whole life, I always thought there was something wrong with me. And everything I did, I couldn't accept it because I felt there was something wrong with it. Even when someone says you're a great singer, someone says you wrote a great song, I don't see it, don't feel it, and don't hear it in my head. So, I think that's made me the person to continually do what I do because I don't get me. Maybe if I got me and was told I am something as a child, I might be a prick right now and just, doing drugs and living in the ghetto someplace, who knows? I think about this all the time. I'm a thinker. My brain goes 24 hours a day. Just scenario after scenario in every situation and every encounter and every person that I know, my brain is just overloaded. So.
Okay. So last one here, and then I've got some other stuff. What advice would I could just get? Oh no, I didn't.
Hmm?
What advice would you give to young musicians who are just starting out their journey in the heavy metal genre?
I would say do what you love to do and don't give a fuck what anybody says. Do it. Just go do it. Don't expect anything out of it but happiness because you're doing what you love to do. Everything else is just a downhill burden. People liking you or not liking you, it's bullshit. Getting on the radio, having the most followers, whatever. It's all bullshit. All that comes if you like what you do, and all goes away because because you want what society is telling you, that you need to do this, you need to be that, you need to act this way, that way, look this way. That's the way people are gonna be attracted to you and like what you do. No, what you do, if you're a true musician and you want to make music from deep within your soul, that's what you do. And someone will like what you do. It might be millions and it might be 10. But as long as you're doing that, then you will have peace in your life and you'll find success. But if you're looking for something else, you're going to be disappointed. Even my rich rock star friends still feel like they never made it. They feel like they still got something to do. They don't get enough awards. They got to get that number one over the other number one. It's all bullshit. Do what you love to do and find enjoyment in it.
Doug, that is all I had. Just want to let you know you mentioned Gretchen. That's probably in one of my top 3 favorite records of like my whole life. That album is unreal.
Thanks. Yeah, I can't listen.
I mean, long time fan.
Play that. Wow, I can't even play that record. No, I can't. I try. I might pull it out today just because you said that, and maybe I can do it this time. Yeah, the first King's X record was about maybe 2 years ago. It had to be right. It was around pandemic. I didn't get stoned or drink anything for like almost all day. And one day I just had a couple drinks and smoked a big fat joint and said, I'm going to play Out of the Silent Planet and try to get this fucking record because I can't stand it. And I put it on. And for the first time in my life, and it only happened once, I got it. I went, oh my God, now I see what people were saying because I realized what was going on at the time. And all the things that I didn't like about it didn't matter. So I said, I'm going to try Gretchen next time. And a couple of years later, it was not too long ago, I did the same thing and tried to play Gretchen. And I couldn't get past half of the first song. And one day, I'm sure that I'm going to appreciate that record. But there was so much emotional stress that I went through making that record that's all I feel in hearing it. I can't hear it for what it is. Maybe it'll take me a couple years more to get past that and then just listen to it as it was, like looking at a yearbook going, there he is. Yeah, he was cute.
Yeah, no, that's a staple in my playlist.
Oh, bless you. Awesome.
And I remember growing up in New York. I mean, we used to go see you. We've seen you at Sundance a few times. Oh, I said, I remember growing up in New York. I saw you at Sundance a few times. Remember Sundance?
Yeah. Packed that place out.
And then L'Amour.
God, I'll never forget L'Amour, ever. Those are some of the best times. All you saw was a packed crowd of kids squished together, and they all had black long hair.
Yep. And you had the mohawk going on.
Yep. It was some good times, man. Gosh.
Anyway, that's all I had, Doug. I appreciate you taking the time and responding so quickly.
No problem.
Be well. It's probably like next winter sometime until I get to this whole thing being correctly, but I'll keep you in the loop.
All right.
I'll send you some messages here and there.
All right.
Thanks for your contribution.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey, be well.
Peace.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.